Hey guys, what's going on? Blaine back for another Netflix review, and today I'm going to be talking about Do Revenge. Do Revenge is an American black comedy that tells the story of Drea Torres, a high school student who's part of the popular group of kids at school when her life is suddenly turned upside down by a leaked sex tape supposedly leaked by her boyfriend Max. As she tries to make sense of what happened, she meets a woman named Eleanor. The two become fast friends due to their status as outcasts, with Eleanor's life having been uprooted by a former friend as well. Drea eventually gets the idea that each should plot revenge against the other's bully to make it easier to accomplish, to which Eleanor agrees, thus setting events in motion. Unlike a lot of other high school set movies I've watched this year so far, this one was a lot of fun to watch. Despite some minor issues with its story, it does a great job at balancing its humor and dramatic depth behind its central concept, and the reason why it works as well as it does is because of the characters. Camila Mendez plays the lead role of Drea and was fantastic in her performance. Her character has this deep-seated anger that motivates her to inflict pain upon others, which prevents her from making friends. And even when she is able to have some influence as part of the cool kids, her popularity is short-lived and doesn't exist because of her goodwill. Beneath her icy exterior is a lonely girl who is desperate to seek companionship even as she pushes others away. And Camila conveys these struggles well, especially as Drea realizes that she has to channel her anger in more productive ways. This allows her to grow and make sense of her circumstances, as well as making her revenge scenarios increasingly more amusing. The other main character, Eleanor, is played by Maya Hawke, who is also great in her role. Unlike Drea, who is more prone to reacting negatively toward others, Eleanor has more of a moral compass and is generally kind-hearted to those she doesn't know, even for those in cliques she can't stand, which makes her a good foil for Drea. But while she is different from Drea in this sense, she can still relate to Drea's need for revenge due to her sexual orientation being outed by her childhood bully, and she doesn't have much of a social circle either. This, combined with her casual wit, made her a fun character to see paired up with Drea. The movie definitely works best when these two are paired together. They're the classic example of polar opposites attract, being completely different in personality with Drea's arrogant nature and Eleanor's joking demeanor, but united by a common goal to seek revenge on those who did them wrong. The more time they spend with each other, the more time they bond and cast their differences aside. Drea reveals the pain of her loneliness that she hides from others, while clues about Eleanor's own past come to light. I didn't expect this level of character development to come out of a comedy movie, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. Even when the characters are apart, the movie gives further insight to them using narrations from both Drea and Eleanor to explain what's going on in their heads. This gives the audience a window into their motives, as well as making for hilarious commentary when the girls say things that they otherwise couldn't say in public. This leads me to talk about the actual revenge these girls engage in, which is by far the most entertaining part of the movie. Normally I wouldn't advocate for something like going for revenge to be the main selling point, as it can get nasty if left unchecked, but I was impressed with how the movie handled it. First, the revenge Drea and Eleanor pull off on each other's bullies and even other characters doesn't come off as being mean-spirited just for the sake of it. The other person on the receiving end usually does something nasty on their part that does warrant some degree of action taking place, even if Drea takes it to extreme lengths sometimes, and even then this is part of her character arc anyway. Second, the movie doesn't dive headfirst into the revenge stuff right away. It takes its time setting up the school and the characters who attend it, so the audience can get a proper sense of those who are innocent and those who deserve a dish that's best served cold. Third, and most importantly, it shows how revenge can snowball out of control and cause even more harm than what existed before. The movie does have fun with the revenge, but it also knows when to hit the brakes and take itself seriously when the right moment calls for it. It was so refreshing to see things like rumors and lies actually have a long-standing impact on characters in the movie instead of just being throwaway plot devices to generate conflict and then be forgotten about later on. It comes as close to being a real-life representation of high school life as possible without sacrificing the humor. And speaking of this, as much as I oppose any kind of revenge scenario in real life, I have to admit that they were hilarious in this movie. Drea and Eleanor are devious in how they carry out their plans, starting off as mostly mischievous before their actions build up over time and become truly diabolical. I don't want to give away too many of the funny moments, but one scene that sticks out to me is when Drea and Eleanor crash a dinner event and they spike the food with hallucinogenic mushrooms. The suspense leading up to and following their actions is intense, and the payoff is truly hysterical. Really, most of this movie's comedy is on point. I laughed at least a couple times in each scene that was meant to be funny, and a part of that is because of how witty the dialogue is. The way characters banter with each other reminds me of movies like Mean Girls and Easy A, and I say that in the most complimentary way possible. Some of the things that come out of the girls' mouths include Bitchosaurus Rex, combining Glenn Close and energy to create Glenergy, and my personal favorite, peaking in high school is cringe anyway. It's rare to hear dialogue from high school characters sound so natural without seeming like it was written by an adult, and in this movie's case it works. Something else I noticed in the dialogue and movie itself was the exaggerated use of wokeisms, with things like the cis-hetero men group supporting female-identifying victims, and the theater group getting in trouble for staging a white version of Hamilton. They can be excessive at times, but in general I still got a good laugh out of them, and they never came off as preachy unlike similar movies like Moxie, for example. The variety of characters in the movie help share the fun behind its humor as well. Most of them are kind of biased in Drea's direction, such as her scumbag ex-boyfriend Max, former best friend Tara, and rival media mogul Allegra, and they all contribute to the comedy in their own unique way. As a side note, there's a scene with Max that unexpectedly became the funniest part of the movie for me. When he goes on stage with his cis-hetero group, all the women go crazy for him, and just as Max quiets things down, one woman can be faintly heard yelling out, "Gag me!" That line was so unexpected and so upfront that I had to pause and get my laughter out of the way before I could keep watching. This being said, it feels like those characters in Drea's revenge group have less personality than those in Eleanor's group, despite the latter being fewer in number than the former. And in fairness, this is kind of the point, as they are meant to be portrayed as conceited douchebags, but even so, it's kind of disappointing with how conventional they are. The movie tries to shake things up further by providing a romance for each main character, but honestly, I didn't care for either of them that much. They're not necessarily bad, but they're about as bland as they come, and apart from a few cute moments where they vent to their respective partners, they don't add much to the story. In spite of the nature of this movie's plot, it's nice to see it retain a consistently positive vibe over the course of the story. The character interactions inject a lot of fun and energy into it, and the music is catchy and upbeat, perfectly encapsulating the fun and carefree spirit of high schoolers. And again, there's just a lot of little things that add up over time to make the movie that much funnier. Whether it's Eleanor reading dangerous liaisons during a school assembly, her bearded dragon literally being named Oscar winner Olivia Colman, or the school headmaster trimming her bonsai tree to reduce stress. By the way, Sarah Michelle Gellar was awesome as the headmaster. There's a plot twist toward the final act that mixes things up in an interesting way. It's pulled off in a way that doesn't feel forced, while still allowing plenty of time for the audience to process things and have a proper conclusion afterward. I'm generally not a fan of twists, but in this movie's case it actually makes sense and helped with its theme. And the theme, which might be obvious at this point, concerns the nature of revenge and the consequences associated with it, or lack thereof. It was intriguing to see how some characters took revenge and received punishment, while others did the same and didn't receive any. Perhaps the most eye-opening part about it, though, was the potential for innocent bystanders to get caught in the crossfire in Drea and Eleanor's attempts to get revenge. It goes to show how far-reaching and severe the impact of revenge can be, and both characters have to learn the hard way that revenge isn't always the best course of action, which is a good message to promote. Overall, Do Revenge is a surprisingly enjoyable comedy that treats its subject matter with care while still having a good time with it. If you like black comedies and you want to see one set in a high school setting and has a good message behind it, you should definitely check this one out. There are some nitpicks I had with parts of its story and characters, but they never get in the way of the fun to be had. In this day and age where so many high school oriented movies feature so much boring drama, it's great to see one that cuts loose and provides some laughs, especially when it does it so well. What did you think about this movie? Did you laugh a lot when watching it too? Or did you find some of the characters uninteresting? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap up my review of Do Revenge. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always stay tuned for the next part where next time I review the Japanese anime film Drifting Home. Bye bye!